Welcome back to Peace, Love and Tarot. This reading is for Gemini, Sun, Moon and Rising, and it's a weekly reading for the week of August 19th to the 25th. Your cards this week, Gemini: energies leaving, completing or transitioning. You have the Ten of Wands. Focus energies this week, we have the Two of Wands in reverse, clarified with the Eight of Crystals. We have the Nine of Swords coming in towards the end of the week. So Gemini, when I was shuffling your cards, I was inquiring about, a visual representation of what you're going through this week, and what popped into my head was a manta ray. It's sometimes called a stingray, the large marine animal that's kind of like glides, and it has a barbed tail as well, but they're very graceful, in their natural state. They kind of glide through the water, almost like they're flying. They're very aerodynamic, and they're very much in the flow of life in the water. And I thought, okay, this is a little bit random. But as the vision progressed and zoomed out and panned, I saw that the manta ray was actually being enclosed or held within an aquarium, right? So even though we have this animal that is graceful and, gliding and in the flow of life, it's enclosed inside an aquarium. So I feel that some of you potentially this week, leading up to this week, in your life at the moment, are feeling like that manta ray, feeling that feeling of being trapped and not being able to truly be who you are. Like, you can still do a certain amount of that, but it's like we have free will. We're in some way, we are wild animals. We are that manta ray because we do have that barbed tail that we could use at any time. But I feel like some of you are being, held in this glass aquarium, and you almost have to keep up a show to be on display for others. So some of you might be sort of going through life and trying to sort of, keep up with the Joneses, keep everything okay on the outside, because you do feel trapped. You do feel trapped in that sense of material life. So, in the recent past, it's not surprising when the cards actually came out, it really did confirm what I was seeing here, because Ten of Wands in your recent past is somebody who is carrying a heavy load, feeling the weight of things on your shoulders, feeling the pressure of it. If you are feeling trapped and that you have to sort of keep up a show, be on display like that manta ray, it's possible that, you really feel like there's a lot of energy that has to go into that. You might have to keep buying the right clothes and your children to a certain school, act a certain way, be a certain way, drive a certain car, that kind of thing. And not only is that hugely expensive, but it's just a lot of work. A lot of work goes into, earning the money and keeping up that appearance. And I think some of you are very tired of that, very tired of it. And I think what's coming into your realm of knowledge is that it doesn't maybe align with your true values at the core. I think that most humans deep down, we actually crave simplicity, and the material sense is just it's an illusion, really. And especially as a lot of us are starting to ascend and spiritually awaken, those things don't seem to align anymore, and they naturally start to fall away. However, if you've built your entire existence on that, that can be an extremely scary thing. So anyway, Ten of Wands is we have somebody who's feeling the weight of that, feeling the burden, feeling the responsibility, who's also feeling like their vision is blinded or clouded or blocked, because all you've been doing is basically carrying this heavy load, pushing through, keeping on the cycle of keeping things up, keeping up appearances. And, when you're doing that, you can't really sort of see the future. That future vision for your life is actually blocked. It's just all about putting one foot in front of the other and plodding along. But I think, Ten of Wands, you're ready to put down these wands. You're really ready to see the future in a different way. I think you're really ready for change. You're really ready to break free of this aquarium and get into the ocean of life, be free, and to live, in alignment with who you truly are as a spiritual being. Now, focus energy this week, we have the Two of Wands in reverse. So, let's just flip it up so we can have a look at it. The two of Wands is, in its upright position, is about, planning for the future, seeing the opportunities for the future and that sort of thing. So in its reverse position, this is somebody who is having some issues with moving forward, who potentially, you know, that vision is blocked. And even though you have that feeling of, okay, I know that this chapter is closing and I need to move forward, I just don't know how to initiate that, and I'm not too sure what steps to take. And Two of Wands in reverse could also be focusing too much on the past, or for you, you know, focusing too much on, you know, keeping up this life that you've built, which has been your past. So in doing that, you know, you really can't fully think about what you truly want for yourself in the future. So, you know, the character has the wand of the past. He is still tethered to the side of the castle, but he is grasping the wand of the future. But the message is that in order to move to this fertile pasture, to see the possibilities and the opportunities for your life and to start pursuing them after you've put down these wands, is that you need to step beyond your comfort zone in some way. So there is some kind of action that you'll need to take to do that. You know, that's could be, you know, that actually putting down these wands and really assessing what, you know, what is possible for your life. Is it leaving that job that has provided this keeping up the Joneses lifestyle for you? However, you know, it hasn't made you happy. It's had a, you know, an impact on yourself and your spiritual development. But if you release that job, you know, where will the money come from? You'll have to change that whole lifestyle. It's these kind of big decisions. Is it the relationship? You know, the relationship, you might not be happy in that and you may want to release that. So either way, you know, in order to move forward, it's really asking you to look at those areas of your life and, you know, the areas that are holding you stuck, holding you bound, held in the aquarium for other people to see. But you really, you know, your priority should be getting back into the flow of life, being the graceful being that you really are. Now, clarified with the Eight of Crystals, which is equivalent to the Eight of Pentacles in the Rider deck. The Eight of Pentacles is really about carving out your own direction, putting in the hard work by your own hand, maybe learning new skills, being the apprentice of life again. So what it's saying is that, yes, you can move forward, but there might be some, you know, some learning a new skill, you know, that kind of thing, actually putting in some hard work, rebuilding in order to make that happen. And the Pentacles is also a slower moving energy. So this shift is potentially not going to happen overnight, but what's important is to take the first steps and put the wheels in motion, so then it can all flow from there. So for example, if this is a, you know, a career thing that you think might be holding you back and holding you trapped in one of the key elements, maybe taking a short course in something that you're interested in. So, you know, in time you can just see where that goes. You know, if it is your relationship that you think might be the issue, having an honest conversation and maybe making some changes in that. It's that kind of thing. And slowly but surely, you know, you'll be able to, you know, manifest a new direction for yourself that aligns better with your values. Now, towards the end of the week, now this is where it gets even more interesting. We have the Nine of Swords here and the Devil plus the Hierophant. So I think that for some of you, you know, the situation that you are in, even though it may look perfect from the outside, it looks graceful from the outside, what you're truly experiencing and keeping up this lifestyle, keeping up this appearance, or living in a way that doesn't align with your true values, is that there is a lot of anxiety and worry in that for you. You know, it could literally keep you up at night. Either way, you know, the Nine of Swords is about, you know, feeling, it can even, you know, verge on that depression kind of thing, or over-analyzing. It's really that feeling of being stuck, being up in your head, and, you know, literally kept awake at night. Maybe just when you're falling asleep is when you start to dream, lucid dream about how the possibilities for your life, and then you sort of realize, oh, but that's right, you know, my situation's nothing like that. And, you know, it's very fitting that the Devil is here, because the Devil is about that self-imposed bondage. It's about, you know, willingly being under the hypnotic stare of the devil. So, you know, you're probably willingly keeping up this lifestyle, keeping up this illusion, keeping, you know, in the aquarium at the moment, keeping up the perfect image. But, you know, really the shackles are loose enough that you could actually free yourself from that. And obviously there is something to be gained from being in that situation. People give you that, what's the word for it? Like give you those compliments about, oh, you guys have got the perfect life, or, you must be so happy, all that sort of thing looks so great from the outside. But really, on the inside, you're feeling toxic about the situation. It's draining for you, very draining, especially if you have to, to keep on that that lifestyle. You have to be on the hamster wheel, earning the money, doing all the things, and and after a while, it can really start to literally, drain your life force. We see the devil here with the bat wings. It's the kind of energy. It sort of slowly sucks you dry. So yeah, that's the devil energy. It's kind of like a self-imposed bondage. And with the Hierophant, yeah, this is kind of like the jewel of the reading here, because the Hierophant, this is a card that links to faith and values, but also the institutions of your life. So institutions of committed relationship, of work, of study, all those kind of traditions. And what it sort of asks you to review, to reflect on, to think about is the traditions and values that were imposed on you, or you came into this life with, versus your true values. So for example, this life that you're living is potentially because that's what society says you need to do. You need to have a certain level of job, a certain size house, drive a certain car, and all those sort of things, because that means you've made it. That means you're successful. However, when the Hierophant comes into a reading, it's like you're starting to question that. You're questioning that on a faith and values level. So, the first key here is those imposed values, those traditional values. The other key that points the other direction is your own true values, the values that you are stepping into. So it's really asking you, okay, which way do you want to go? And I think this is kind of like the awakening that you are going through now under that Hierophant energy. And then the other thing I want to say about the Hierophant here, guys, is that, I talked about the traditional values and that being the marker of success, i.e. getting married, having the house, having the home, having the children, driving the certain car, that sort of thing. When you do start to awaken, and that can happen when you actually start to align with your true values, you start to question the traditional values. When you start to awaken at that level, you start redefining success. So for example, I understand this because I've come from a very established corporate career, which started to fall away from me as I had my spiritual awakening. It's almost like you can't do that anymore. And the true marker for success is, for me and potentially for you, is living in line with your natural rhythms, making money from your true passions and interests, to live a free life where you can explore your spirituality, where you have time in your day to live a healthy life, to meditate, to that kind of thing, to get off the hamster wheel, because really when you're doing that, it's a trapping. So my success to me is having freedom from those trappings, to be able to put down those wands, to smell the roses and enjoy life. So I think you're really assessing what success means for you and really contemplating that future move. So there you go, Gemini. It's a big reading, actually. I wish you all the best for that. I think this is really just the initial rumblings of this that might unfold over, the next months to come or years. But it's a really good thing, because this is aligning with your true purpose. So Gemini, that's what I have for you this week. Wish you all the best for it. Keep in mind it's a general reading. Not every Gemini will be experiencing this week. And I'll be back here next week for another reading with you.